Welcome to this very important day. It is the 25th of May 2018, a very important day for the continent called Africa Day. But as we discuss the meaning of this day as a continental citizen as well as a global citizen, just as you are, it is very important to start off with this African proverb that a people without a knowledge of the history is like a tree without roots. Let's face it, as we're speaking today, the continent of Africa is faced with a lot of challenges, but within these challenges is inherent opportunities. But what we know is that one of my most important and exciting African proverb, which goes thus: cross a river in a crowd and the crocodiles won't eat you, is telling us that the continent of Africa is faced with fierce crocodiles. It's crocodiles of poverty, it's crocodiles of food insecurity, it's crocodiles of unemployment. But let's face it, as we're speaking today, mothers are burying their kids before they reach the age of 5 in the continent. I'm talking about the 240 million citizens that go to bed with their stomach aching of hunger. I'm talking of youth unemployment, with 12 million youth getting into the labor market each and every year to compete just for 3 million jobs. Meaning that literally every month 1 million youth get into the labor market to compete for less than 25,000 jobs. And what the statistics are telling us is that in less than 17 years from today, 350 million youths will be getting into the labor market to compete for jobs less than this number. What many have christened a ticking time bomb. But worst of all is the youth disenfranchised are leaving the continent. They're faced with despair and hopelessness and trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea. And many of them have been buried under the Mediterranean Sea. Some crossing the Sahara Desert have been sold for meager amounts for what has become modern slavery today. But amidst these challenges, what we are faced with is climate change, which is already redefining the contours of the continent more dramatically than any other. But amidst these challenges, there is hope. It's a hope that we can do things differently. And this calls for a shift in paradigm, and a paradigm shift that premise things from a different perspective. One where we premise it on collectivism rather than individualism. We premise it on selflessness rather than selfishness. We premise it on hopefulness rather than hopelessness. A paradigm shift premised on complementarity and synergistic actions rather than silos. A paradigm shift premised on leveraging on human capital, involving our skills, tapping into the talents of the youth, their energy, their determination, rather than putting money upfront. These elements are the essence of what we call innovative volunteerism. On the 21st of March 2018, African head of state and government gathered in the capital of Rwanda, Kigali, and adopted what is called the African Continental Free Trade Area, which gave birth to a different reasoning that we can be able to produce what we produce regardless of where we do that in the continent, and add value using clean energy, with production working with environment, with nature, not against nature, and connect this to markets utilizing information communication technology, and in the course of this, spur an agro economy that is worth $1 trillion in less than 12 years from today. This will create the needed jobs for the youth, up to about 17 million jobs as the statistics are telling us from actions from the ground. All these needs to be done by leveraging on human capital, which is a priceless resource in the continent. Human capital combined with the material resource in the continent will create the inclusive world that is needed, but this cannot be done at the expense of the environment, and the reason for working with nature, not against nature, and weaving this within the context of transformational change is important, because this transformational change will leverage on our skills, the skills of each and every citizen across the continent. And doing so will make Africa not only to be competitive, but to have its assertive space and place in the globe. So as we move forward in celebrating this day on the 25th of May 2018, let us always be reminded that we have everything it takes to build climate resilience. We have everything it takes to address the fierce crocodiles of poverty, to put poverty on the run and prosperity into the cockpit of progress. Because we know that even the biggest cock that crews the largest was once just an egg. Let's do it for the collective benefit of all.